Good afternoon and welcome to another edition of the Watchpoint Post Show live from the Blizzard Arena in Los Angeles, California. You can find us here after every match day. I'm your host, Chris Puckett. I got the whole crew with me as always. We've got Zoe, Bren, and Sideshow. So much to talk about. We're gonna get into all of the games, all the best moments of the day. But first, we gotta celebrate. It's the Vancouver Titans, your Stage 1 title champions. And right now, we got Bumper the main tank on the floor with our insider, Danny Lim.
Blizzard Arena, one more time. Give it up for your Vancouver Titans Stage 1 final champions! Yeah! You guys have done it. Congratulations. And you guys are finishing off the stage undefeated. Bumper, how do you feel? 자, 우승 너무나 축하드립니다. 거기다가 또 한 번도 전승, 무패로 끝내게 됐는데요. 범퍼 선수, 지금 소감 한 말씀 부탁드릴게요.
저희가 컨텐더스에서부터 시작해서 우승을 하고 리그에 와서도 우승해서 지금 세상에 있는 그 무엇보다도 가장 행복한 것 같아요.
Starting off with the contenders, we finished it off. We won contenders. Now we're in Overwatch League. We won Overwatch League Stage 1. I am the happiest man alive. How about you guys? Everyone happy? 다들 기쁘시죠? Yeah. Thank you. And also, Stage 2 of Overwatch League will be happening on April 4th. Everybody mark your calendars. Bumper, do you feel like Vancouver Titans could be the champions? One more time for Stage 2. Stage 2, 우승 가능하십니까?
이번에 리그 시즌 2잖아요. 저희가 짝수 추진에 강한 만큼 무슨 메타가 오든 어떤 스테이지가 오든 다 우승하겠습니다.
Give me 1 second. 짝수 스테이지요?
네, 짝수 시즌.
Because this is the second season of Overwatch, and we're really good on even numbers. I'm sure whichever stage, whichever map it is, we're going to definitely take the win. All right, thank you guys. Everybody, give it up for Vancouver Titans one more time. Puckett, back to you at the desk.
Thanks a bunch, Danny, and big congratulations to Bumper. I'm sure you guys all have a lot to say about what we just witnessed, so let's break it down from the very beginning here. Map 1 set the tone for this back and forth battle. It all started off on Nepal. Zoe, Bren, Josh, let's take a look at some of the best moments as we jump into the very start of this epic 7-game series.
It feels like a lifetime ago, doesn't it, that this series began, and it was absolutely crazy. But honestly, if Nepal had gone another way, it could have been a totally different series as well. Every single map was so close between these two teams, and we knew as soon as we started out and Shock managed to edge this one away, coming from that one-round deficit, that we were in for one hell of a game.
Yeah, this was just incredible play by San Francisco Shock. Their individual performances were absolutely standing out. Moth didn't even die anymore up until like the very end of this bout on Nepal. And on the other side, Sinatra had a standout performance on this map specifically. He only died 3 times in the first round, and then afterwards it was just all on him. Super great shatters throughout the entirety of this match. It was insane.
Do you know what? I think they just basically downloaded Bumper's weird Earth Shatter style, and Super's been able to work around that so well. Bumper didn't look like the insane star talent that he has done all season. He did look great, don't get me wrong, but Super, I think, got the better end of him across the majority of this series. But Vancouver here came back out and just demolished them on Numbani.
The clear moments for me where Vancouver was turning this around was the moments where it's where these years of synergy have been built up, where you can tell it's just dividend, because they just re-engage in a lot of these fights. They come in so quick with the reaction times, a lot of time with a lot of their engagements, using self-destructs in weird ways, defensively, aggressively, to initiate a lot of the fights. And that's where they got a lot of the edges in these team fights, even when they were down in ultimates, down in even numbers as well. This is the one thing that Vancouver Titans excel at, and they did so to clutch in certain maps.
Now watching this on the attack, Violet had some fat fingers, guys. Some big transcendence when they didn't need it, and those seem to be wasted. It was looking dire here for San Francisco Shock in their own map pick of Anubis, but Joy Hoven clutched up here and kept his team in the game.
He did, but you know, honestly, I do think I want to credit this to Violet. We did criticize his earlier trances, but then at the very end, they clutched it because his trance saved Moth, and Moth, in turn, they managed to boop the right people.
Oh, it's coming right here.
Yeah, right there it is.
There it is.
It was like a really great team play there, and then Sinatra landed a grab right after that, and it just kind of all.
This is the one.
There.
Yeah, Violet clutching at the end of this. Manages to pick off 2 players, then the trance comes out and heals up Sinatra, like you're saying. This fight was nuts. But it can show you how much this series could have turned on a dime.
Yes,
because if Choyobin had not clutched on point A, they would not have even been able to win this map whatsoever. And then if Violet hadn't clutched towards the end, again, the Vancouver Titans probably would have taken that. So the entirety of this series could have been so different if these tiny little minor details had changed. And I think that just shows you we witnessed an amazing match that could really have gone either way, but credit to both of these teams for playing such sublime Overwatch.
And I think the one takeaway, if you're watching the early half of this match, was that it seemed Vancouver simply could not defend Super Shatters. Let's take a look at some of these big ones, Josh.
Oh, they were unbelievably good. I mean, the way that he was playing around it as well, Bumper's he's a very hard Reinhardt to read, but when you take a look at the statistics here, Earthshatter stuns in the first 3 maps went massively in favor of Super, but the actual kills that they were getting off of it, not that
pretty
many.
Close.
Right, and so there's a couple of ways of interpreting this. First of all, Bumper was landing a couple of key shatters, and they were having good efficiency translating them, and some of the shatters that Super was hitting, the peel was just too good from the Vancouver Titans.
Yes, yeah.
They were able to keep everybody alive. But I want to throw another interpretation of this in here, because Super had some great defensive Earth Shatters as well.
Yes.
And so he was throwing out those Earth Shatters not designed to get kills, but to stop his own team from getting killed. So the stun itself was the value there.
And we saw that on Nepal to clutch up on the final point. You saw it in map 3 as well on Anubis. But let's keep this show moving as we have to talk about the second half. With the Shock up 2-1, it was all Vancouver getting to choose which map we were going to, and the Titans didn't seem to be phased at all when we headed to Dorado.
So this is where we need to start talking about Vancouver Titans as a team, the history of this team as well. Yes, they're Korean Contenders champions going in past the year, but this team was also notorious for mentally choking in the finals.
They've made 4 finals, only won 1 of them. Exactly. So that tells you what you need.
And usually it's the turning point around the middle of the game. They just lost the map on Anubis. They come into this. This is normally where you start to see teams really falling to pieces. But you need to credit Vancouver Titans. They have such good mental strength to be able to power through this and be able to battle back after a loss on Anubis like this. Not a lot of teams in the league are capable of that.
So when you were watching Dorado, what were you keeping eyes on?
I was actually keeping an eye on the supports here, mainly Moth and his counterpart Slime. They had a little bit of a duel situation going on there in more than one situations, which I think is again a great example of Vancouver Titans really trying to adapt. They did see how much Moth actually got to set up with them, so they had Slime kind of onto Moth's heels, who kind of just followed him around and made sure that he's not setting up those big boops, which bumped Bumper into the Shock's line.
And you can see it continuing onto Ilios. These healers, we always talk about the tanks, but the healers doing so much work today. Ilios, of course, was the tie-breaking map 5 in our series. What were the biggest plays that you guys saw on this map in particular?
It all came down to this round, really, didn't it, Puck? It came down to and we had a weird situation where Vancouver continued to run this bunker composition, or the double stun comp, where you have the McCree and you have the Brigitte. Normally, it's not so good to run this against the Winston triple tank, triple support, but Vancouver made it work, got up to 97%, and San Francisco Shock just came all the way back.
And that's where we need to talk about as well the mental fortitude of San Francisco Shock on the other side. This is a team that hasn't been in playoffs, right? This is a team that are not used to this kind of high-pressure stake environment on the stage, yet they still managed to battle back in that round, and now they're 1 map up here on King's Row. Just absolutely absurd.
This was match point, King's Row for all of the marbles, and things were looking really good for Shock early on. They get an early point A, but when it came to this final point, Vancouver Titans dug their heels in.
Yeah, I think Zoe mentioned that she wasn't sure whether it was the right pick for the Vancouver Titans to go here, because it is an incredibly good map for the Shock. And I totally agreed. I thought it was a bit of a scary prospect for the Titans. But on their offense, they showed why they're such a great triple tank, triple support team. They just rolled it through, honestly.
It comes down to minor differences as well. A reoccurring point that we're going to be touching on for the Vancouver Titans is this fact that they've got this chemistry built up over so many years that they're able to just make split-second decisions and engagements with whatever ultimates they've got available to them to somehow clutch out a lot of fights, which they shouldn't.
Speaking of clutch, this was just insanity.
I couldn't believe what I was seeing.
I could not believe what we were seeing there. We had to follow up on.
Not only do the Titans clutch up with back-to-back victories after the Shock was on match point, but they set a world record time on the attack on Rialto.
Crazy.
Insane stuff. Looking at some of the biggest players in this series, of course. We gave the MVP out earlier. But guys, how did the Zarias handle in this series? Incredible stuff on both ends.
Yeah, I mean, is it safe to say that So Min-soo is the best Zarya in the league after this performance?
I think it would be reasonable, yes. So Min-soo had a crazy performance over the course of this. Sinatra's definitely up there. People like Nene from NYXL, maybe Decay from the Gladiators, but I think So Min-soo, you can make a great argument for him being the best in the world.
I don't want to take anything away from the Vancouver Titans with this, though, as well, because, you know, they come out clutch winning this team fight or this game, but there were so many moments where it could have been Shock right now, sitting up on that stage as the victors. It's such a hard point, realistically, to argue, and that's what I'm looking forward to forward into the league as we move forward, right? There's a little rivalry now, but developing between these two teams.
Pacific Division, we're going to see this a lot moving forward. I'm pumped to see this. Welcome to the league, Vancouver. Shock, awesome to see you here in your second year. But now it's time to crown our player of the match, presented by Omen by HB. Here it is officially. It's So Min-soo. That's right, the Zarya coming out. You said he's the #1 Zarya, arguably, in the game right now. Do you want to see him on this hero in the future?
I mean, I don't know what the meta's going to hold in the future. As much as I claim to be an Oracle, I really don't know what we're going to be seeing. It could be that So Min-soo ends up taking a backseat for Stitch in the near future. But for his Zarya performance, the #1 thing for me is how intelligent he is. He doesn't need flashy plays. He might not have the best aim, but he's intelligent when it comes to his gravitons. He's intelligent when it comes to his bubbles as well. He's the one who's imperative in keeping Bumper alive the majority of the time, and I think he's been kind of like underrated almost. I'm not going to say too underrated compared to some of the other star talents, but like when we think of good Zarya players, you're thinking of Sinatra, you're thinking of Nene. You're not really thinking of So Min-soo so much, but he is integral to this team and their success.
No, he really is, and I think it is what makes him stand out so much, that he is playing a very passive Zarya, considering that he's playing with such an aggressive team, and he is the one who enables Bumper's absolute bunker plays. I mean, Bunker would not be able to do anything of what he actually is doing without So Min-soo having his back.
Such a ridiculous day. Are you guys exhausted?
Yes.
I'm exhausted. Let's give ourselves a breather. Still plenty more coming up here on the Watchpoint Post Show. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with lots more from the epic finish of Stage 1. The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile. High ground or low ground, T-Mobile has you covered. Welcome back to the Watchpoint Post Show. You can see tons of excitement from the local crowd up in Vancouver. Today was full of so many sick moments, but we're here to show you the best of the best. That's right, it's time for the most over-the-top moments of the day. At number 5, we've got... You ready? You ready, guys?
I'm ready.
It's
to pick those people on the floor. That's not the case here, despite him.
my best bumper impression. What do you guys think?
I love it.
It's pretty decent.
It's somewhere between
What in the-
baseball.
It looks like you're trying to scythe your way through a wheat field or something.
Yeah, I think your form could be improved. I'm not gonna lie.
machete more than a
Reinhardt's can't crouch. You guys should know that. Let's move on. At number 4, it's Joe Hoban with a huge self-destruct that keeps everybody in the game. But more importantly, look at that Buddy Blaster.
Yeah.
No mech for you, Janu.
Do you know what as well? The players that he kills here, look at Super. Super gets an Earth Shatter on them, on Haxel and on Twilight, and it just sets up this perfectly. It's an incredible play from Joven as well to jump out of his mech.
Coming on to number 3, let's take a look at the action from Slime. Where'd your ult go, buddy?
Oh man,
Bye-bye.
I hate to see it
Beautiful.
happen. You hate to see it happen. Slime and Moth both had so many great boofs in
Oh,
the game.
yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Crucial ones too, not just flashy. They were crucial picks.
I think that's my favorite thing about the meta that we've seen in stage 1, is that the Lucius get so many of these big moments where they can be playmakers.
I'm just happy to not see
Another
Mercy.
one.
Sorry, let's keep it going here. At number 2, another big bomb. You mentioned it earlier in this show. This isn't just the Diva player for the shock popping off. This was a whole team effort. The grab, the shatter, and of course, the big finish.
Yeah, again, fantastic performance by Shock in a lot of these clutch situations. They used to be one of the least clutch teams in the league, and they won a lot of these fights today.
And then finally, it took us about 3 hours, but we got here. Bumper and crew finished strong as they complete back-to-back maps.
I love this match.
Yes,
It
yeah.
was so good.
One of the best matches in recent memory, I think, for a stage finals. Like, our stage finals are usually fantastic.
Yeah,
right?
they are normally very, very
normally
good.
very, very competitive. But this, I think, takes the cake, honestly, out of all of the recent Overwatch we've seen in quite some time.
Absolutely. There was one shot that didn't get caught on camera there, but I hope we have it backstage. I was watching live. As soon as they knew they won, Bumper lets go of his mouse, starts jumping and does this. That's my new Bumper celebration. You're going to see that a lot on this show. All right, guys, we're going to a quick break, but after the break, we take a look at what the Overwatch League has in store for you in Stage 2, so don't go anywhere. It's the Watchpoint Post Show.
The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
Welcome back to Watchpoint. Well, triple tank, triple support may have dominated Stage 1. Some key changes are coming up here in Stage 2 of the Overwatch League. And we'll talk about how those could have a major impact on the way Overwatch League is played. Let's take a look at these. Multiple hero balance changes coming into the new patch. What are some of the big ones that you guys see here on this?
The biggest one has to be Batiste coming in. That is a big change. Josh,
Maybe.
you're and you're Aaron. I genuinely think the thing is when you introduce a new hero like this, especially Batiste, who have you played him? Do you know how good he is?
He's okay.
Mate, he's nuts.
Nah,
He
Not
is
so good at deathmatch.
absolutely
I tried
nuts,
that.
dude.
I don't know,
Josh,
though.
you can't aim, so I don't understand why you're downgraded.
Get out of
Yeah,
here.
in the
Get
hands
out
of
of
a
here.
Benji,
In the
that's
hands of
easy,
me,
you know?
I dominate.
No, but here's how it always works when a new hero comes in. It starts off, everyone's really hyped. They try and use him as much as they possibly can. But then when teams try and figure out what the counter is, then it's when you see what his actual place in the meta is going to be. Everyone's going to be really hyped and trying to use Batiste in a bunch of different roles. But I think with his immortality field, it seems incredibly powerful. But because it can be destroyed and because it's not mobile, it just stays in the same position, I have a feeling that as the meta develops, they'll be able to dodge around it a little bit more.
It's like 200 HP, though. Isn't that thing tough to break out?
I think
Not really.
you're a little bit mad, honestly, if you don't think this hero...
Bren, why is he going to be awesome? Tell
Let
me
me
why.
talk about his abilities, right? So he provides insane damage for one, capable on the same level as a lot of damage dealing characters. Immortality field, there's not an ability like it in the game.
That's true.
You can use it to salvage a lot of team fights that you're seeing here. Saves you from self-destruct. The amplification matrix doubles your damage and healing.
Right, but
you're dealing damage and healing as Batiste. This is going to be up almost like every 2 team fights at least, realistically.
Yes.
I mean, this is going to be
It's
like a
such a
shield
ridiculous-
breaking kind of combination. That's
Yes.
the thing, and that's I think will make the big difference, because that will not enable all those Reinhardt plays and even Brick. You know, to some extent, I think this is definitely going to at least break that 3-3 combo.
So let me also add something to
Go ahead, Brad.
this Batiste argument. Buffs for Orisa, nerfs for Lucio. Okay?
Nerfs for Lucio is
Speed
the
boost
huge
is
one.
the biggest one.
Yeah.
The lack of speed boost now is one of the things that makes GOATs actually good, the triple tank, triple support composition.
Yeah.
Lucio's speed boost going from 30 to 20 is massive for nerfing that. Along with the Orisa buffs as well, it's minor, but it all helps at the end of the day when it comes to the bunker comms being ran. So
All right.
I'm heated.
I can
I'm
tell.
heated.
I'm set.
Heated.
Let the blood go back to your body. It's all in the head right now. All right,
All right here.
Let it drain back down. Who are some of the players that we want to see running Batiste across the league? I'm looking for the guys that used to run Ana. Maybe they get a chance to have some mobility finally.
I think so. I think it's going to be the support people, but I'm not sure whether it's going to be the people you'd normally see on Zenyatta or Ana at the moment, or whether it's going to be the Lucios. It depends what he ends up synergizing best with. And when we were talking to Christopher earlier, he thought that it might be the main support player, Neptuno, Elk for the Fusion, the guys who you would normally see playing Lucio now. So that's a big shift in terms of what makes a player good. You don't really have to have great hit scan aim on Lucio at the moment. So a whole new skill set has now been opened up for those guys.
I'm looking forward to seeing maybe Slime on that character. All right,
he could be.
we'll see. We have to wait till stage 2. Vancouver, take a few days off before you make Slime play, though. All right, let's talk about another major change that's coming in. We're switching up the map order, and we're also going to see some new maps into the lineup here. As you can see, we've got Paris coming in. That's going to be fun to watch. Yeah? Yeah? Anybody?
Oh, yeah.
Josh wasn't so good on it when we played last night. His Genji fell into the water, which he didn't know existed.
Yeah, I didn't have the best performance on Paris, but I'm hoping that the pro teams can be a little bit better than me. They usually are.
So the interesting thing about Paris compared to a lot of the other Assault maps from what I've seen is the long sight lines on it in particular.
Huge.
There's a lot of maps that aren't quite like it, but also I think it's going to be quite defenders orientated. I don't really want to make too many claims about what to expect from this because, again, we don't know what the meta's going to be.
Right.
We don't know what compositions teams are going to be playing.
And we can't judge from our Platinum games last night.
What you do see, what we do see is that there's a lot of like narrow kind of streets.
Yes.
And I think that is going to be a lot of fun to watch because that forces a certain team composition and also a certain play style onto the teams. And then we also have a lot of open areas,
Yeah, it's interesting.
which will make it very interesting.
Yeah, it's like a combination of narrow tunnels and then huge open plazas, which means that certain compositions are going to be great in certain portions of the map and really bad in others. So I'm really interested to see what the teams end up running.
I just can't wait to watch Chung do on this map. Can you imagine what they're going to be running? The Hunters
I actually
can play
can't
any
imagine.
hero in the
Everything
game.
comes
We were
to
running
mind.
6 DPS last night and winning on Paris. so,
It worked
you know,
out.
that's
It
never
worked out. All right, let's talk about another map that is going to make its return to the Overwatch League in Stage 2. We're going to be seeing Gibraltar in action here. Josh, you excited to see this map?
I am really excited to see Gibraltar back in the lineup, actually. And the reason for that is it tends to be a lot of more dive heroes. So you see the Genji, the Widowmaker, the Winston, stuff like that, has a lot of high ground. It's difficult to get value out of tanks. So even if these changes aren't enough to push teams away from using a lot of triple tank, triple support, I think the maps can also play a huge difference. And I'm excited to see people back on Genji. I mean, we've got players like Haxel in the league
Welcome.
now. We've never really seen him on playing in the Genji so far.
Drop a little name in a hat there.
Yeah.
Jinmu.
And we have a lot of great Widowmaker players here as well.
Yeah.
So Gibraltar is going to be a lot of fun for them as well.
Absolutely. Having said that, I've really enjoyed seeing the culmination of this meta in the Stage 1 title match because it was a lot of fun.
It was so fun. After 6 weeks, though, I'm ready for some Genji. Let's keep it moving. I know I'm super excited to see all the things to come together in Stage 2, but for now, don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back with some bold predictions after the break. It's the Watchpoint Post Show. Welcome back to the Watchpoint Post Show. Can't wait for some more Overwatch, and it's all going to start Thursday, April 4th with the Philadelphia Fusion taking on the New York Excelsior. That's going to be a good one. Live on Disney XD. Super pumped to be back on television once again. Then we have Boston taking on Atlanta, Shanghai up against the LA Gladiators, and the Guangzhou Charge facing off against the Paris Eternal. So, let's start with you. What should people watch out for on that opening day of the next stage?
I think my match to watch out for will be the Guangzhou Charge and the Paris Eternal. Both teams have very talented DPS players, not just out for a brawl. I think this is going to be super messy. I think it's going to be very aggressive, and that's kind of something I like when watching Overwatch. And I know that both of those teams will, you know, they will enjoy straying away a little bit from that 3-3 composition. So I expect to see a lot out of
Shadowburn and Soon in the lineup at the same time. Is it possible?
It is. It's very possible.
That could happen.
I'm very excited.
Maybe. We'll see what metas are actually going to be run. What about you, Brent?
For me, it's got to be the first match of that day, Philadelphia Fusion versus New York Excelsior. And what I'm going to be looking forward to in this match is actually seeing if Philly can keep their head above water because they have a very tough schedule in Stage 2. They actually played New York Excelsior twice. So this is the first time, and it's going to be a good indication of how well they're going to be doing in Stage 2.
Josh, what's the big match for you on opening day?
I think it's got to be that Philly versus NYXL one as well. But a wider talking point for the whole of Stage 2, actually, now that we've seen the Titans win, is that the Titans' strength of schedule isn't that hard in Stage 2. We could see back-to-back undefeated stages for the Vancouver Titans, which would be insane.
Ridiculous.
But it's very possible.
Big stuff. All right, if you are new to the show, make sure you check out what's going on over on twitch.tv. We've been showing our bits leaderboard here. Here are your Twitch cheer bits leaders. Atlanta Reign, the most famous team in the game right now, at least when it comes to donations.
This is a new graphic bucket.
Which one?
Titans have snuck in at 10. It's an absolute, this is bananas.
Is that a Sasquatch?
I don't believe it. Your eyes lit up.
A force of nature is on that screen.
I know. I've been staring at the same screen the whole time, but this is new.
Every day you tell me I can't wait until that cheerbit section.
Oh no! We've got more shakeups!
Oh, well, this is a tragedy.
Poor
He gave all his money to me the other night, actually, to be fair.
Did he?
He gave me like 50k bits.
Are you serious?
Yes, yeah.
Bobby, come into my stream. It's much better gameplay. Come on. No, big shout out to everyone who has been cheering along their teams as this has gone on. Big shout out to Pep and D-Pom. Welcome in to the top 10. Coming up immediately after Watchpoint, you don't want to miss the live Q&A with our very own Uber live on Twitch as long as you have the Overwatch League All Access Pass. So if you don't have it, go get it right now. But we're not done yet, guys. final thoughts here on the show. How was your day, Zoe? It's been a long one. What was the best part of watching this finals for you?
I think it was watching the finals.
Just going 7 maps?
Yeah, no, I honestly, this is the most entertaining GOATS slash 3-3 I've ever seen. This is why I do actually love this composition, because if it's played on such a high level and in such an aggressive way, it's actually so much fun to watch. It was such a great back and forth between those two games. I don't think if New York was in the final, we would have had a more exciting game. I actually think this topped it.
What about you, Josh?
I've got to agree with you. I think this was a fantastic series, and it gave me kind of flashbacks to the runaway squad that the Vancouver Titans was based on. They used to always go to 7 maps as well, always lose on control. It's a fantastic series to give reflections of the past as well for this team.
And Bren, you know, I was going to let you answer, but I know your answer. You got to watch Overwatch on your birthday. We've got our special birthday clown here. It's Kevin, our stage manager. He's got a special treat for you.
It actually has my name on it this time.
My hands are away. I'm not pushing you into the cake.
No one's going to hurt you this time, Bren. No one's going to hurt you.
Glasses. You're safe here.
You got it. It's a second season. We totally wouldn't do exactly what we did in the first season to you. Or would we? Got him!
Unlucky, son.
Oh, man, that is going to do it for us.
The second cake.
Didn't see that.
Bren never saw the long con coming in. Shout out to Kevin. Shout out to production. We had an awesome day here in the Overwatch League. Thank you for watching the Stage 1 Finals. That's going to do it for us today. But remember, we'll be back live on Disney XD Thursday, April 4th, kicking off Stage 2. You don't want to miss it. We'll see you then.